Now, you're not going anywhere, right? We're going to do, yeah. Because being December, it is also the Advent season. And although I am desperately sorry to tell you that I forgot the Advent wreath at home, we still do have 4 red candles on the altar that is Susanne DuBois' debut. Yes, thank you. So the way we do Advent here is, Advent traditionally is the 4 Sundays before Christmas. And there are various ways of doing it. It's also the 4 Sundays before the winter solstice, where the sun, S-U-N, is born. So nice that it's the same word as the S-O-N. Very, very nice. And so we celebrate the earthiness of our existence. So the first Sunday of Advent, we celebrate the earth. And the second Sunday of Advent, we celebrate the plants. And then next Sunday, we're going to celebrate the animals. So our 2 stanzas this morning and 2 candles. So here we go.
Candles in the dark to greet the newborn sun. Blossoms reaching to the light. Winter's hold is done. Winter's hold is done.
We have a new thing that we're doing. We want to know who you are. So in this packet is a card that if you fill it out with just your name and information, and all you get from this is actually a welcome letter, but we really would like to have that information. If you hand it back to us, that card, you get a book. You get a little book about our philosophy right there. There's the card. And the book is in the bookstore. So anybody here for the very first time, that's all you have to do is just raise your hand and get a gift. Okay, welcome family then. Welcome family. So we are here now at your spiritual center where our vision is awakening personal transformation. And our vision is teaching tools for positive change. So that's what we aim to do. Every single time we get together is both of those things. The global vision for all of this year that we are finishing up this month is a world that works for everyone. So what this means to me, after contemplating it all this year, is a world where all races, nationalities, financial statuses, ages, genders, people with differing religions, political persuasions, eating habits, and sexual preferences feel comfortable at home and that they have a reasonable expectation that their needs and the needs of their family and friends can be met and all remain safe. That's my vision, and that's what I imagine all of us work towards every single day, whether we're aware of it or not. So the December theme, this is the first month, or the last month, the first week, the last month of this theme. And the December theme is the living spirit. We're finishing up the year with the most magnificent, heart-opening, glorious, joy-inducing, expansive idea to install in our awareness. Because as we accept this as the law of our being, it becomes the creator of our experience. And the real message is that we are going to talk about today living as the living spirit. So, you know, when I start the week and think about the talk that is kind of culminating the week, I hear it before you hear it, is what happens. And sometimes there is a download that I say to myself, if this were the only message that I got to hear for the rest of my life, it would be enough. And this is one of those days. I do not claim that this is my stuff, you know. I listen. And so it's one of those, living as the living spirit is, you can't get any bigger than this. It is the most magnificent, all-encompassing message. And if we embrace it and have any sort of conscious awareness or even unconscious acceptance, you know, saying, I don't understand this a bit, but I want it, then we can have it. So the quote that this is based on is this: we believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty. Now, I know that some of us may have a little bit of a feeling of resistance against the G word. Many of us who have taken classes have gotten over that. But if you still do, we're going to talk about spirit, actually. That God kind of equals spirit. That the word we're going to use today is mostly spirit. And so what we are saying is that this spirit is living. It is alive. It is present. It is active. It is moving. It is sparkling. It is generating. It is in us and all around us and so much more. So I'm going to read to you what it says in part in the glossary of the textbook as it defines spirit. And then we're going to unpack it. The self-knowing one, the conscious universe, the absolute. We treat of spirit as the active and the only self-conscious principle. We define spirit as the first cause, the universal I am. The spirit is self-propelling. It is all. It is self-existent. It has all life within itself. It is the Word, and the Word is volition. It is will, because it chooses. It is free spirit, because it knows nothing outside itself and nothing different from itself. Spirit is the Mother, Father, God, because it is the principle of unity back of all things. Now that is something that will make your eyes roll back in your head. I know it. But let's take this a bit at a time, all right? So we're going to talk about God, the living spirit. And I'm going to take elements of that which I just read, and we're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to tell you why it's important. So first of all, self-conscious. This living spirit is self-conscious. It knows itself. It is aware. It is aware of itself at every single point of its creation as the creation. So this spirit is aware of itself as Jupiter, as the stars. It is aware of itself as the coffee you drank this morning or the egg you ate this morning. It is aware of itself as the digestion of that egg. It is aware of itself as the baby Jesus, the little bitty baby in the manger. It's aware of you as itself. So it is saying, I am that. 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 And in the Old Testament, when Moses asked, who is it that is talking to me out of this burning bush, the answer was, I am that I am. The non-specific, all-inclusive, self-awareness of the all-originating spirit that makes itself into everything and lives as everything. That's what that statement says. You can't get away from it. So why is this self-conscious piece important? It's because you and I can't go anywhere outside of God, knowing itself as you, as me, as our surroundings, as our relationship to each other, as the environment in which we live and where we came and where we're going. We can't escape it. Now, we can be oblivious. We can be unaware of the self-awareness of the Spirit as us. But it doesn't change that Spirit is saying, well, isn't that just the cutest thing? They're not aware of me as them. They're not aware of their holiness, their magnificence, their connection to everything. They're not aware that all that I have is theirs. They're not aware that all that I can do, they can do, and more. They're just walking around pretending there's something so much less. Self-existent. So this spirit is born of itself. In the quote itself, it says it's self-propelling. It makes itself and all other things from its center. Now this is actually mind-boggling to say that it was never born. It never arrived. It's always been. And so because we have a hard time wrapping our mind around logical language, I want to go to the Aramaic. You know, we love the Aramaic. I love it. You say you love it after I tell you about it. So Aramaic is the language that Jesus probably spoke, and it's one of those holy languages that has many, 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 many meanings on many levels. The words mean different things. I mean, the same word means different things, and even the sounds inside the word have meaning. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, because this is about the Lord's Prayer. And the first opening statement of the Lord's Prayer, our Father, which art in heaven, but we're going to talk about our Father. The word in Aramaic is abun. Say that. Abun. And here is what the sounds mean. Ah, the absolute, the only being, the pure oneness and unity. Bwah, the BW, bwah. A birthing, a cosmic birthing process, a creation, a flow of blessing. Ooh, the breath or spirit that carries this flow of birthing. And the vibration of this creative breath from oneness as it touches and interpenetrates form. Oh. Our Father means this breath that creates everything in unity, this self-existent breath. Why is this important? Because, once again, we can't leave this source. We were breathed into existence. The breath of God is breathing us. And our breath isn't our breath. Have you ever thought about that? We do this automatically. So next, the Word. The Word was a part of that definition of spirit. So the Word is the avenue through which the birthing process takes place. It is the spoken word. It is how God says, let there be light, and there is light. And then it works for us too when we say, I feel great today. That's made for us. In the book of Job, it said, thou shalt declare a thing and it will be established for you. It will be made for you. All you have to do is say it. You say it and it is made for you. Why is this important? It's because that is the way we create our life, whether we know it or not. All of these principles are operating, and we operate within them, whether we are aware of them or not. And so the word that we speak is powerful and the law unto our experience. We can't go around saying, I'm worried about the election and the 4 years, oh my God, 4 years, and have a great time in the next 4 years. We speak what we want to experience for ourselves and for the world. And then lastly, it talks about the principle of unity. There is no other. There is no other force. There is no other entity. There is no other source. There is nothing against this one, this abun, this breathing, creating flow of holiness that turns out into this universe. There is no other thing going on. Nothing else going on. But God birthing itself over and over and over and over and over and over and over. That is where you have chosen to incarnate. And the thrilling thing is, this is us. This is us. Each of us is living as the living Spirit. So now I want you to take out this prayer, and we are going to read it together. And this is another thing. I'm telling you what, if you read this every day of the rest of your life on this planet and you don't do any other spiritual practice, guess what? You are going to be enlightened, transformed, amazed. I mean, this is spiritual practice for your own enlightenment. So let's put this on your refrigerator or in your bathroom or wherever the point of power is in your house. Okay, let's read this together. I am a center in the divine mind, a point of God-conscious life, truth, and action. My affairs are divinely guided and guarded into right action, into correct results. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by the truth. There is power in this word that I speak because it is of the truth and it is the truth. There is perfect and continuous right action in my life and in my affairs. All belief in wrong action is dispelled and made negative. Right action alone has power, and right action is power, and power is God, the living Spirit Almighty. This Spirit animates everything that I do, say, or think. Ideas come to me daily, and these ideas are divine ideas. They direct me and sustain me without effort. I am continuously directed. I am compelled to do the right thing at the right time, to say the right word at the right time, to follow the right course at all times. All suggestion of age, poverty, limitation, or unhappiness is uprooted from my mind and cannot gain entrance to my thought. I am happy, well, and filled with perfect life. I live in the spirit of truth and am conscious that the spirit of truth lives in me. My word is the law unto my own manifestation and will bring to me or cause me to be brought to its fulfillment. There is no unbelief, no doubt, no uncertainty. I know, and I know that I know. Let every thought of doubt vanish from my mind, that I may know the truth, and the truth may make me free. Whoa, okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, let's unpack this. This is our connection with the living spirit. So first of all, each one of us is a point of God consciousness, whether we know it or not. God is self-conscious, and so are we, because our self is God. There isn't anything else for us to be made up of. There is a point of divinity, of us knowing ourselves when we wake up. Now, we can sleepwalk through this life. We can. But with this spiritual practice and with others, even the most militant sleepers will have moments of awakening. And all you need is a moment of awakening, and you say, oh, that's what they've been talking about. Then you are definitely on the path. So in this about the point of God consciousness, in this offering here, I am a center in the divine mind, a point of God conscious life, truth, and action. That's where it says that. Okay, next is we are animated by the living spirit, the life in us, that living quality, that knowing that we're alive. That life is God's life, because there isn't any other life. You know, when we sing, there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. That is what we believe, literally, actually, absolutely true. That's it. Nothing else. We are God's life. In this quote, it says, this spirit animates everything that I do, say, or think. Then we are choosing to co-create. When we wake up a little bit, we start choosing wisely. Otherwise, we are just mouthing what we hear from the chatter on the outside. We are pretending, along with a lot of other people, that this life is screwed, whatever. And when we wake up a little bit, we start the process of conscious co-creation by speaking, seeking after, and finding, at first, bits of what we long for. Little bitty bits of joy and peace and healing and connection and love and mattering, usefulness, harmlessness. And when we get a little bitty bit of that, along with these teachings, we say, that was not an accident. That was not an accident. It came to me because what I am seeking is seeking me. And then lastly, we are connected to all good. This is the principle of unity. We are united with, connected with, one with, cannot be separated from everything. And when we co-create the good, then the good rushes into our experience because of the unity principle of the Spirit. There is no other thing than the living Spirit and all of its manifestations. That's it. And so when we consciously co-create by calling forth, seeking for, and finding those bits and then those rushes of heaven on earth, we literally bend the universe to us. And this spiritual tradition is not the only place they say this. This is string theory. This is quantum mechanics. The science says the same thing. What you look for is what you find, because there's no there out there. There is this quantum soup that shows us what we put concept to, what we look for. It is the field of all possibility right here, extending out from us. And we choose from all of the possibilities what we want to experience, and then that becomes the law of our being. Okay, let me take a big deep breath, and we're not done yet. Okay, what this means. This is the good news. I am guided and protected. You are guided and protected because you are Spirit's own. You were created from the center of the heart of God, shot into this world, and you are never, ever alone. Your mind is the one mind that created the universe, and anything you need to know is available when you need to know it. And so if we are always guided and protected, and then I say after this, nothing really bad can happen. There's where it comes up, right? There's where it comes up. Okay, yeah, but bodies can get damaged, feelings can get hurt, fortunes can get dismantled, there can be suffering and sustained suffering. All of that is in the quantum soup. And the more we consciously live as who we are, the living spirit, less and less troublesome things happen. Either that or we get over unhappiness faster. And the faith in the ultimate reality grows, and the experience of life is more and more and more glorious. And truly, truly, this happens in progressive stages where we go from glory to glory. That's what it says in the Bible, moving from glory to glory. It gets really, really good, and then that becomes our norm. Then it gets really, really gooder, lots better, and then that's our norm. Because we consistently use the spiritual practices that we are given, and we look for the good, and then the good appears to us. And this happens because I am powerful, and you are powerful, because we are one with the living spirit that is so powerful that it's created everything and continues to create. And I am holy, and you are holy. Everybody that you look at, if you look with the eyes of God, you never ever see pathetic, powerless victims. You don't see any of the other judgment words that we use. You see magnificent beings using their life on earth in all kinds of different ways. And remember from last week when we read that little book, The Little Soul and the Sun, we realized that every single person that we come in contact with, either in the media or in face-to-face, is either a lover or a teacher. And the teachers are a lot more numerous. The lovers are the ones that just look at you and say, you are absolutely wonderful. Don't change a thing. I love you to pieces. You are amazing. What amazing thing are you going to do next? I can hardly wait. That's the lover. Everybody else is a teacher. Everyone else Either you are unconditionally supported and somebody just vibes you with love, or there's a little bit of sandpaper or a whole lot of sandpaper. That's the teacher. The principles don't change. We still look for the good and find it. With all this, you and I can expect a fulfilled life. You know, the baby in the manger said, I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. That is what we are meant to do on this earth plane. Yes, sometimes it feels like boot camp. Yes, sometimes it's very difficult. Yes, sometimes when I say you don't really have to suffer and you go, oh my God, show me the way out of this. That seems so real. And yet we are all here to have an abundant, great, great life. We chose to come here. We might as well make the most of it. So, here's the last one. Isn't that great? And it's about how to live as the living Spirit. You could answer this. First of all, you establish spiritual practices. If you don't have any spiritual practices, you were given one today. Take this prayer home and read it every day. That's your spiritual practice. Just read it until 2017 every day and see what happens. And then you might read it every single day of 2017. Take a class. Learn how to dissolve yourself into God so that you don't feel separate and lonely. That's what spiritual practice does, and it's called practice because you have to do it over and over again. Then the next thing, and this is really, I could do like a whole 10-week workshop on this, and that is to become self-aware. We can do rote spiritual practice and have it not be effective. Unless we know our holiness and our humanity, unless we know our growing edge, unless we know where we're skilled and where we're unskilled, we can do these rote prayers and it won't make any difference. One of the reasons that we came into this world is to learn. And so to practice being a beginner, even though you think you know stuff, and practice taking responsibility even though you don't like some of the stuff, and practice telling the truth and forgiving and being present and looking for the good and walking your talk, being honest and humble. That is being self-aware. And then that's pretty much it. You repeat. You repeat after that. You do spiritual practice and you become self-aware. And then you do spiritual practice and you become self-aware. So, in finishing up here, I'm coming up on 27 years in the ministry. And I've seen myself and others grow in magnificence. And I've seen myself and others stall in our spiritual growth and hang out in victimhood, anger, forgetting, complaint, focusing on the negative. And then it takes a big effort to turn the ship around and to get into that growing mode again. What I'm asking for myself, as I heard this come in, I wanted to live what I'm saying. I really want to. I want to live as the living Spirit. I want to be self-aware and practice. And I want you all with me, because I believe that we can live the highest, most joyous, sweetest, most powerful, most useful life if we just do this. That's all we have to do. So you want to do it with me? Okay, good. Me too. Thank you. So these are our spiritual principles, and I got a message that I should go slower through these because some people want to take them down. So we'll go a little bit slower. God, the living spirit, is all there is. That's pretty much what I said today. And next, each of us is powerful, holy, and one with God. That's the truth. And the practice, all these practices, just help us do this. Discover a way to dissolve ourselves in God, because that's where our real home is. So join me, if you would, for the inner work. And what I would like you to do is, in your mind's eye, look again at one of the images of the slides before the words came across them. The swirling chakra meditator person, the person with the sun coming out of the crown of his head, the person with arms outstretched looking up into the heavens. Choose one and know that that is you. That is you seeking to connect with what you are already connected to. Seeking to know that which is already known inside of you. Seeking to be who you already are. May it be that our true selves are the ones we show every minute of every day. Blessed be.